Good morning or good afternoon. Welcome to Math Field Day Scorer Training. My name is Jessica Mejia, and I will be guiding you through this scorer training. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So first and foremost, we'd like to thank you all for volunteering for this role. Without you, this event would not be possible. So we are extremely grateful for your willingness to volunteer and participate in bringing back joy to mathematics in our students. So here we have our objectives for today for this training. So the objective is to understand your responsibility as a scorer and also to become familiar with the work you will be doing during Math Field Day in this role. The agenda we broke up into 4 different parts. The first part focuses on the description of what Math Field Day is and a little bit about qualifications for a scorer and responsibilities. The second part talks about what you will be doing at arrival of the Math Field Day. And then the third part focuses on the work being done during the first, second, and third round, which is where most of your work will be happening. And then the last part, just some other notes to keep in mind. And again, my name is Jessica Mejia. If you have any questions, please feel free to send any questions to math@laco.edu. And we are happy to help with your questions as much as possible or as much as we can. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with the first part of Math Field Day. So, quick general description of what the event looks like. So in the event, we will have 8 different grade levels participating. So you will see 4th grade through 11th grade students in the event. So you will have the little ones and then the not so little ones around. And then we have 3 rounds of the competition, right? The first 2 rounds, round 1 and 2, are team competitions. So those are completed as teams, and there are 4 students per team. Each round is about 30 minutes. The first and the second round are on conceptual understanding and problem solving, like I mentioned earlier. Those are team competitions. And then the last round is a individual competition, and that is a procedural skills round. And again, we rely on volunteers like you. So we are so very much thankful for your willingness to support in scoring your student tasks. Here you have a quick tentative agenda and schedule of what the day is going to look like. So we open registration tables at 7:30. We do have a morning assembly at 8 in the auditorium. During this time, we also have proctor training and scorer training going on. Scorer training will be in the library. Proctor training will be in the college center. At 8:35, we should be done, and we should be transitioning to our classrooms. And hopefully all of your students have their name tags and their classrooms so they know exactly where to go. We did allocate a transition time about 10 minutes and then 5-minute cushion gap for the proctors to review the schedule with students and to make sure that they have all the materials that they will be needing for the competition. The competition should start around 8:50. And so we go with round 1, break, round 2, break, round 3, and then the competition is over around 10:45. At 10:45, we have a new and exciting feature to our Math Field Day, which is called Mathcella. Woo. So Mathcella, this will be in the NPR. So it's a quick festival of math, and it is open to all students, all parents and volunteers. We will be having puzzles. We will be having games and rewards for students' participation. So if you are looking forward to that, again, that'll be in the NPR. However, you also have time here for break. If you bring food for your students, they can partake in that. Have a quick snack or lunch, whatever it is. But you will have an hour for that. or participate in the exhibitor tables and all that good stuff. Around 11:45, though, we do ask that we start to transition into the auditorium where we will have our recognition and award ceremony. And then the day should be over at around 1:30. And I also linked the schedule and the map here for you all. And so again, here's a quick map of what St. Gabriel High School looks like. You can see where the auditorium is, the registration table, the library. The light blue here are where the competition will be taking place. These are the classrooms, college center. And then you see your parking for your bus, student drop off. Make sure we drop off students before we park, right? And then you have your visitor parking here and exhibitor parking. So how did I end up here? So if you are watching this video, that means that you are a scorer for our event. And usually every grade level team provides a volunteer for a position, either a proctor, a scorer, or a general volunteer. Proctors and scorers have to have a credential, either multi-subject or a single subject. And then you have your general volunteers that don't have to be credentialed. So if you selected when you registered to be a scorer, thank you so much. And if you did not select to be a scorer, but you're still watching this video, it's probably because we needed more scorers. So sometimes we don't have enough volunteers to fill certain positions, so we use the number of volunteers and their qualifications as needed. But yes, either or. Thank you so much again for your willingness to score, because without you, we would not be able to have this competition. And so what are your responsibilities as a scorer? So you are going to be you have a few responsibilities, but your overall most important responsibility is scoring the task that the students are going to be submitting, right? And so it is your job to determine who will be receiving the gold, the silver, and the bronze medals. And then ultimately the team trophy for the winners. So what are the qualifications of a scorer? So again, you must have either a single subject or a multi-subject credential. So we do need a fully credentialed individual or a volunteer for this position. And then you should have an understanding of what our math standards are, right? Our content standards and our standards of mathematical practice. And then we do encourage that we have an understanding of the multi representations that students may use to submit their work, right? Because since we're scoring, it's important that we are conscious of the different types of solutions or approaches students might use for specific tasks. And then we also encourage a pedagogy and delivery of the content and acquisition to be familiar with how the student perceives the task or the perspective of the task. And so that was our first round. And so now we're in part 2. So arrival at math field days and what that is going to look like for you, right? So when you arrive on campus, you want to first check in with your coach, your district coordinator. That would be your district coordinator. And so it is the district coordinator's responsibility to check in all grade levels in the registration table. So we only want one person registering all the grade level teams. And this is the district coordinator, or we call them the coach. When they check in, they will receive the registration packet or the coaches packet. And in the coaches packet, you will have a map of the campus, the list of volunteers, student schedules, for the day, name tags, classrooms, and so forth, okay? Once you have registered, then we do ask that around 8 a.m. you escort your students to the auditorium where they'll have a morning assembly before they start the competition. And then if you have anybody who is a scorer, or if any of your volunteers are scoring, you want to send them to the library at 8 a.m. because that's where we will have our scorer training for the morning. And you do not need any materials because we will be providing you with the tasks, the rubrics, pens, pencils, and so forth, anything you need to grade. So when you arrive at the scoring room, which is the library, you want to check in with the LACO staff, which is probably going to be me, or your LACO partner, which is our team, and his name is John. And he is going to be in charge of the scoring room. So we locate our grade level table that is assigned. And usually there's like either like a playing card with the number, and that's corresponds to the grade level. You want to introduce yourself to everybody at the scoring table. Those are all going to be your peers or colleagues in scoring the task. And then you want to make sure that you discuss and identify one lead scoring judge for your specific grade level. Does that make sense? So if I'm in a fourth grade table, I want to make sure I have one designated lead scoring judge in that table. And then our scoring room lead, which is John, is often, he's usually in charge of writing the task or developing the task. So he will be around so that you can ask any questions regarding the content of the tasks, or any just clarifying questions about anything, directions of the task and so forth. And we ask that you please understand that you are going to be in this room for quite a bit of time scoring the task. So bring whatever you need. If you need food, you need water, you need whatever it is that you need, make sure that you have, so that just we ask that you're conscious of that. All right. And so for part 3, we're going to focus on our work during the rounds. Okay. So during round 1, it's probably where you will spend most of your time talking with your scoring team, your grade level scoring team. So you want to make sure that you are all calibrated in your work. And again, identify who the scoring the lead scoring judge is for that specific grade level. This is where you want to make sure you ask any clarifying questions to John or myself. And then generally it will help. It will be helpful if our teams know each other by name or know each other in terms of the calibration, so to make the scoring more easeful or more with a smoother scoring path. If you are hesitant about this responsibility, just know that, again, like we shared earlier, without you, this competition would not be possible. So we are very grateful again for your willingness to score these tasks and to help us determine who our winners are. This is also an excellent opportunity to see what our state expectations are for working on math tasks, along with the standards of mathematical practice during our team competitions. All right, so you will be responsible for scoring tasks from round 1 and 2, so only the team competition tasks. There is one task per team where all of their work will be. So they'll have one solution key task per team. And so it's so important for students to be able to work as a team, right? And then one of these rounds will include manipulatives. If they do include manipulatives, we will be sharing those with you as well. So the scoring room lead will distribute the task 1 first. Then you will work on it individually by yourself. If you have manipulatives, we will share those as well. Once you have completed working out the task, then you will be sharing your responses with your colleagues, and then calibrate around what the responses should be. Once you have calibrated, then the scoring room lead will then distribute the scoring rubric so that you can compare your responses or your point allocation with the rubric. And then that whole process will repeat itself for task number 2, which is the other team competition. So overall, during round 2 and 3, that's where most of the scoring will be happening. So once you're calibrated and you understand, what the process is, then you have to get into the scoring. So there are 2 scoring volunteers who will work on the same paper submitted task. So we ask for 2 scorers per task. Upon completion, the initial the completed document. So once you completed scoring, you put the score and you initial, meaning this is the score I gave the task and this is who did it. And again, no fractional scoring, right? We're only scoring based on whole numbers, 1 through 10. If there is a discrepancy in scoring, let's say one scorer gave a task 7 while the other scorer gave the task a 5, then the scoring lead in that group, the one that you designated from the beginning, will make the final decision as to what the score is by rescoring it themselves. So upon completion of the scoring of the task, the lead scoring judge will submit the task to the scoring lead. So once all of the tasks are scored and submitted, then that lead scorer judge will submit them to John, who is our scoring room lead. And then these scores will be entered to determine the winners. So again, just to recap quick notes, each task should be scored by at least 2 people. Try to avoid scoring your team tasks. So try to avoid scoring your own teams. In the event of a tie, the lead scoring judge in your group will break the tie. And again, the tasks are progressive. So the number of points will build on itself based on which part students are working on. And so the total number of points for a task should be 10 points. And this may not be the case, but you can ask for clarifications to the task writer or to John, who will be in the room as well. And round 1 is generally the students, the judges or the scorers' opportunity to calibrate and acclimate about their thinking. And then, like I said earlier, during round 2 and 3, that's where most of your real scoring will take place. And so with that, we ask that you just please be patient with each other, right? Ask lots of clarifying questions to yourselves, to the task writers, to myself, because this is how we will all communicate with one another to just clarify and make sure that our scoring is being done fairly, and that our scoring is calibrated and acclimated with each other. All right, and this is our last part of our training. So some other notes, just keep in mind for the event. You are making the final call, right? So you as scorers in your table are the ones in charge of making that final decision. We will not, or LACO will not intervene unless absolutely necessary. Again, it is the scorer's responsibility to make that final decision. If there are any issues, we encourage this process or a solution-oriented process. So we want to make sure we identify what the issue is. We want to identify what our possible solutions are. And then we want to identify what the final decision of the judging team is, right? And so once we are done scoring all of the tasks, then we want to help just tidy up and clean up our tables. And then once everybody has completed, then John will give us the thumbs up to join our teams in our Mathcella festivities and our exhibitors and lunch break, whatever it is that you all have planned for your teams. But around 11:45, we want to start to escort our students back into the auditorium for our recognition and award ceremony. All right. And with that, I want to say thank you again. And I hope you found this training or this video helpful. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you. And I hope you have a great day. And we are excited for Math Field Day this year. And I will see you on April 27th.